AFS Intercultural Programs, a worldwide leader in international education, empowers people to become active global citizens. Each year, AFS provides opportunities to live and study abroad to nearly 13,000 high school students and young adults living in countries throughout the world. With one of the largest volunteer-based networks of its kind, more than 50,000 dedicated volunteers help to make AFS programs possible. For over 75 years, hundreds of thousands of people engaged with AFS have devoted their time and energy to fulfilling its mission of helping to create a more just and peaceful world. The organization that gave rise to AFS started in wartime Europe during World War I and II through a volunteer ambulance and camion corps known as the American Field Service. It began in the civilian-run American Hospital of Paris, where there was a dedicated ambulance driver, A. Pyatt Andrew, a former director of the United States Mint and assistant professor of economics at Harvard University. In 1915, Andrew, now Inspector General of the hospital's Transportation Committee, successfully negotiated with the French Army to send ambulances closer to the front lines of battle. These ambulance units became known as the American Ambulance Field Service. In 1916, Andrew established an independent American Ambulance Field Service headquartered in the heart of Paris, which would become known as the American Field Service. In 1920, an AFS association was established to coordinate reunions among former members of the American Field Service and to facilitate study abroad fellowships for French and American graduate students. The primary aim of the fellowships was to continue cultivating peaceful ties between the US and France. When World War II broke out, the American Field Service was reactivated as an ambulance corps under the leadership of Director General Stephen Galati, and its volunteer drivers helped transport wounded from both sides. In 1945, when the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp was liberated by British forces, American Field Service ambulance drivers were called in to help evacuate more than 11,000 people from the camp. By the end of World War II, the 2,196 American Field Service ambulance drivers had carried more than 700,000 wounded combatants. At the end of World War II, these drivers were determined to keep alive the spirit of volunteerism that drove the organization through the past 3 decades. In 1946, Stephen Galati and American Field Service drivers pledged to continue the AFS tradition of volunteer service and to work together to foster friendship among nations. They felt this could best be achieved through intercultural exchanges that helped young people from diverse backgrounds understand one another better. In 1947, the first group of European high school students arrived in the US on scholarships. That following summer, 29 college and high school students embarked on a bus trip across America to see the country and gain US citizens' interest in supporting student exchange and hosting foreign students. AFS clubs soon appeared in schools across the US, many of which are still active today. US presidents met with AFS exchange participants at the White House, and the organization was lauded for its contributions to US public diplomacy efforts. AFS USA continues to host and send students on scholarship programs to foster public diplomacy, in partnership with the US Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. By 1964, more than 20,000 students had participated in AFS exchanges, a number which has grown to more than 500,000. Today, AFS in the United States remains steadfast in its commitment to volunteerism, intercultural learning, and empowering youth and others who are engaged in AFS programs to make a positive difference in the world. With guidance and support from the AFS USA National Council of Volunteer Leaders, AFS is expanding its diversity initiatives, strengthening its collaboration with educators and schools, dedicating time and resources to best understand the needs of families who host exchange students, all while furthering the AFS educational goals and the organization's strategic plan. Through Global Citizen Scholarships and Aid, Global STEM Academies, Faces of America, U.S. Department of State-funded scholarships, other funding initiatives, as well as with donations from AFS USA alumni and others, AFS USA continues in the commitment to make studying abroad accessible and affordable to high school students from all backgrounds. Guided by the tenets of inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, AFS USA strives to engage all people in the organization's work and mission. Today, the need to achieve peaceful solutions to conflicts between cultures is still an urgent matter, and AFS is part of the solution. Through intercultural exchange, an enduring commitment to volunteerism, and exciting new educational initiatives for groups of all ages, AFS USA continues to inspire people to become the kind of global citizens that the world needs.